We should be live here momentarily. 3, 2, live. Maybe, possibly, possibly. Are we live?
One would hope.
I think we're live. I mean, it's been nothing but fucking hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. Donald H. Huth, can you hear me? Can you see? Well, me and the Livingston man. Prepper now is the man behind the earphones on the globe there.
I can hear you.
Thank you for sticking with us. Can you guys hear us? Can you see us? Let us know what's going on out there in the wonderful land of YouTube. Pilgrim, thank you so much for the 5x5. Really appreciate it.
Livingston Man is fucking tight
Hang
right
on.
now.
There we go.
Livingston Man is fucking completely pissed off right now.
So, I mean, this all lends to the things that we've been experiencing lately, and this live stream is about how we, as content creators, we as people who have been silenced, we the people, how we actually fight back against this, because this is not normal. This doesn't happen on a regular basis. I watched the Livingston man almost throw his computer out the window here tonight. It was incredible. These things don't typically happen. And when you set out on a mission like we've set out on here tonight, you can expect some flack, right? Wouldn't you agree, Prepper now?
I would.
What I want is to fire up the program and have it do the same thing it did the last time, instead of like being like, actually, the entire fucking interface is different now, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
All good.
Why?
All good.
Nonstop action.
I apologize to all the viewers and everybody that like wasted their ass sitting there.
Yeah.
Waiting for this, because
This
it wasn't supposed to be like that.
This is technical glitch central, and I shared a link earlier in the chat. Livingston, you know what I'll do is I'll share it right now in the chat once again. Hang on a second here. Where are you? Of course, I don't. I can't even find my live stream on anything. So. Let's see here. It doesn't exist online. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Did I share your live stream to you?
Yeah. Could you share it to me?
Yeah, I will. Share it right now.
I can't do it myself apparently. But here I found it. It's already there.
Your link coming too.
I got it. Thank you.
Well, I found out that there's a group of people that, like, when they see my videos, they don't get a thumbnail or anything. It's like a gray screen.
Yes. I've heard that as well. And listen, it's finally happening. The stars have aligned for us as content creators, and we're finally going to have somebody in the government who believes that the silencing is actually happening. It's not in our heads. It's not that our content sucks. It's that your message is deemed to be one that must be silenced, and it will be across the board. And I brought the fucking receipts tonight. So the first thing I would like to go over here this evening, Livingston Man, could you bring up the web pages for us, please? Oh, there you go. No, not at the moment, but this is the Federal Trade Commission website here. This is the link that I shared for everybody in the chat. All right, and I'd like to start reading, and then I'd like Prepper Now and the Livingston Man to continue. I'm going to do like a first paragraph, and then we'll just keep going.
Looks like I'm calling the
Sounds good.
one. The second one looks pretty incendiary. I'll take that one.
Okay. So today, the Federal Trade Commission launched a public inquiry, and today would be February 20th, 2025. They launched a public inquiry to better understand how technology platforms deny or degrade users' access to services based on the content of their speech or affiliations, and how this conduct may have violated the law.
Censorship by technology platforms is not just un-American, it's potentially illegal. Tech firms can employ confusing or unpredictable internal procedures that cut users off, sometimes with no ability to appeal the decision. Such actions taken by tech platforms may harm consumers, affect competition, and may have resulted from a lack of competition or may have been the product of anti-competitive conduct.
My thing literally just crashed. Hold on. All right, I got you.
No worries.
You see what's going on here?
Just like crap the bed. There's ghosts in the machine. It's the CIA, man.
Or perhaps they've degraded a user's access to services based on the content of their speech or affiliation.
Perhaps.
The FTC.
Tech firms should not be bullying their users, said FTC Chairman Andrew N. Ferguson. This inquiry will help the FTC better understand how these firms may have violated the law by silencing and intimidating Americans for speaking their minds.
Let's see, where were we? Tech platform users who have been banned, shadow banned, demonetized, or otherwise censored are encouraged to share their comments in response to the RFI. The Federal Trade Commission is interested in understanding how consumers, including by potentially unfair deceptive acts or practices or potentially unfair methods of competition, have been harmed by the policies of tech firms.
The public will have until May 21st, 2025 to submit a comment. There's a link. Once submitted, comments will be posted to regulations.gov. If consumers would prefer to file a private report with the FTC instead, they can go to reportfraud.ftc.gov and click Report Now.
Which I'll be doing directly after. The Federal Trade Commission works to promote competition and protect and educate consumers. The FTC will never demand money, make threats, tell you to transfer money, or promise you a prize. You can learn more about consumer topics and report scams, fraud, and bad business practices online. Big tech, excuse me. At reportfraud.ftc.gov. Follow the FTC on social media and blogs, and subscribe to press releases for the latest FTC news and resources.
Hold up, I gotta go. I gotta go follow the FTC on Facebook real quick.
So there is one small part of this that we missed. It's the FTC issues a request for information. That's an RFI, requesting public comment on how consumers may have been harmed by technology platforms that limited their ability to share ideas or affiliations freely and openly. I think that's a very important part of this that we skipped. And if you are a content creator,
Back.
incredible.
Also, one of my subs I know in the background just said I was echoing really bad, so I'm changing to my headphones.
No, don't.
To my man from Arizona, you know who you are. If I'm echoing still, text me back, brother.
It's
Mi hermano.
incredible.
Ayúdame, amigo.
When you call people out on the damage that they're doing to others, these are the type of things that tend to happen. It's utterly ridiculous. It's childish. It's illegal. It's immoral.
This is becoming
It's
obvious.
fucking wrong. And
Well, my whole thing is like, if you have such a winning argument, then you should be able to present it to anybody and it'll win. Like if you're such a pussy that your argument has to, like, the only way to win is to like silence and make quiet and not allow to speak and shadow ban and everything else. You basically just said, I'm a bitch pussy and I'm not going to win the argument because my ideas aren't going to win the day. I will debate anyone. I will talk with anyone. I will allow them to have full whatever amount of time they want to have, and then let me refute. You know, I don't have to silence anyone. Now it's different. People say, oh, you silence people when you take away my comment. Well, yeah, you're like calling people names. That's not what I'm talking about.
yeah,
The other thing is, at this point, Google, which is the owner of YouTube, is basically a public utility.
Yeah.
How do you mean? Well, when you have search results and you're a business like the Yellow Pages, and they like, oh, he's a conservative content creator, he's a conservative person. Let's take I was using an example of Mark Dice. Mark Dice, very big channel on YouTube. He's a media commentator. He's got like a degree from Cal State Poly or something like that. He's got multiple books on the bestseller list. If you were to go to him and then like Robin DeAngelis, who wrote the whole woke thing and all that, you mark my words, he'll be on page 7, 8, and she'll be on page 1, even though he has loads more of like things out there and clout and everything else. So the thing is like, this isn't a like business anymore. So to say, oh, well, they're a business, they can silence you if they want or whatever. No, that's not the way it goes anymore, because now they are, a public service really more than anything else. Look at Fox News. Fox News is on here. Look at MSNBC, or think about back in October on the 24th, you had Joe Rogan and Trump that were having a conversation that kind of went viral. Well, you couldn't find it because this platform completely silenced them and shadow banned it.
Yep.
So that's a election.
Yep.
Like, is the Federal Election Committee going to go and come in and say you can't do this?
They should.
No.
They should.
They should.
They should.
They shouldn't be allowed to do that. This is for our rights as a threat to a democracy, as I like to say. It's if you don't allow them to it's a threat to a democracy. So seriously, it's like, at what point are they just allowed to do whatever the heck they want? And it's gotten too much. And I think everybody across the board is really sick of it. Nobody this is the kind of crap that Soviet Russia would do. Absolutely.
I think this is what, if Nazi Germany would have had the technology that they have right now, we'd all be speaking German, hands down.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm glad it's kind of privately owned and maybe not government owned, but the more I look at it, the more I think that it and the government are one in the same. That these big tech companies are so big that the government has to be involved with them, and it's no longer a private company. It's a government-run company, and they're silencing political opposition. They're silencing different opinions. I don't think they should be silencing anybody. I think everybody should be able to say basically what they want, aside from make open public threats and yell fire in a theater. Those are things that you don't do. But I think you should be able to speak your mind. I think your information should be shared freely along with everybody else's, and that nobody should take precedent one over the other. Just put them in numerical order, organic as they come. Just put them out to the people who subscribe, and see what the content does. I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't make the corporation that's hosting a lot of money. And the best case scenario, it goes viral and they make a fortune off of it. It seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot, for lack of a better term, and they're doing it over and over and over again and forcing people away from this platform. I just don't understand the business model.
Well, there isn't a business model. You've completely proven how it is about more only allowing one side of the political aisle to be heard and the other one not to. If it was truly a business, if you think of the sage words of Michael Jordan, who said, Republicans buy shoes too. Yeah. When people were getting mad at him back in the day for selling to, say, oh, why are you selling to those people? Why are you, what? It's because Republicans buy shoes too. Conservatives consume too. In fact, you make the case that they consume more, or they provide more to the economy. Yeah. So if it really is a business model, then the model is to make more business. Well, if you're silencing one side of the aisle, then clearly it's not about business. Clearly it's completely and totally about politics. Mm-hmm. And then from there, shutting down your opponent because you just don't have the ability to refute it or have the better conversation or ideas. And that's where we're at.
It's unfortunate. Livingston, man, I see you stewing. What?
I'm fucking seething. Absolutely fucking pissed.
I'm still thinking we do a podcast.
Totally.
Well,
Totally.
All these extremely valid points made by all here, and it's important to kind of take in like the big tech atmosphere of like the world we live in right now, even like what we're doing right now, all this streaming and internet and everything else, and we're saying things, and I think it's an interesting route to go down, because here's a rabbit hole. Like, where could this go when you start talking about like the precedents that might be set by such a broad defense of the First Amendment, right? Because this turns into not just like YouTube, like shut you off for Facebook through your 30-day ban. Let's be honest. Okay, we had this conversation earlier, and I'm like, Mike said, well, you caught 30-day bans. I was like, I deserved it. I said some dumbass shit. I get it. All right.
Well, it's important to own up to your
Shouldn't have posted
flaws.
that meme, you know what I'm saying? But then there's other things, like when you start talking about your ability to limit how another person can express themselves in your presence, in your establishment, in your, I don't know, so-called owned space, right? This boils all the way down to like restaurants telling you take your red hat off. This turns into dress codes. This turns into a lot of things where you could really take the chains off of some things inadvertently here, because let's remember, hate speech is not speech you don't like. And so in giving everybody the right to be heard like this, there's going to be a little bit you're going to have to, like, you know, put on the plate and eat as well. Like,
Absolutely.
So it's a great thing to see. At first I was like, why, like, you know, the government's worried about this. Why should they care? Now I have a theory about this, but I don't want to get deep into it until later on. I'll kind of close this out. I think I understand the thing here, but
the logic behind it.
But on its face, okay, let's check this out, because if that's indeed what happened, it again opens another like kind of can of worms, in that here again, Americans' rights were being violated, and it took the government to step in and say, hey, actually, I think we're violating your rights.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, because that don't happen.
No, like ever.
Good point.
Ever. And, you know, maybe it takes a person in charge, like somebody who's been silenced by these big tech companies, and, well, guess who's back in charge? And now, I hate to say there was, I didn't want to see vengeance politics, but I feel that this is a case where the world will benefit from the outcome of these, which could look on its face like vengeance politics. But I think a lot of good's going to come out of it. A lot of free speech is going to come out of it. A lot of growth from people is going to come out of it. Because let's face it, they're not going to give us views back that they denied us, right? That's not going to fucking happen. They're certainly not going to give us any money back that we didn't make from these potential views that never fucking happened.
But you can't calculate it really, and how could they? It
No.
may be a class action lawsuit, and they give every creator $37 or something, you know,
Yeah.
and say sorry.
I'd take it.
Yeah, with a smile. I'll meet you at McDonald's, Prepper, now.
Thanks for lunch, Google. Wow.
Couple cheeseburgers and a gas tank, baby.
That's it. That's the way to go. I don't know where it goes. I'm glad that we have an outlet now, and you know, this whole entire video and this live stream is about spreading this message to people that there is an outlet, that the Federal Trade Commission is actively looking into this. We finally have a place to be able to tell our stories, and somebody who's going to listen to them in a position who may be able to affect change. So this is extremely important. This is, please share this out. You have to share this out. More content creators need to know this. More content creators need to see this. More content creators need to look through their analytics and see if the boot has been dropped on them. Because I promise you, when you look in your analytics, you will be able to see it.
Absolutely.
The algorithm giveth and the algorithm taketh away. And fortunately for us, content creators, we get access to YouTube Studio, where it gives you all the fancy analytics about your channel and everything that goes on there at your channel, right? And it shows you the ebbs and flows, how you're doing, when people are watching, when they're not watching, what type of people are watching, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, where they're from, everything
Oh, yeah.
for the most part.
Everything.
Livingston, man, could you bring up those graphs?
Yeah, and nobody talk until I tell you to, because you're going to try to fuck me.
Oh, of course.
Don't do that.
Okay, you can speak now.
All right, and we're talking again. So what you're seeing
Where's
here,
the homie, though? Come the
that's
fuck on.
that's overlaid, right? What you're seeing here that's overlaid is Livingston man's fixing things on the fly here. Look at him go. Okay. Oh man.
Now
perfect.
These are next level graphics, and I anticipated the sons of bitches trying to fuck with me on that. And you can still hear us, can't you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. See, I'm on to you.
So what you see here is a couple of screenshots from Google and the analytics for Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival's YouTube channel. The video right over Livingston Man is an Aurora Borealis video that I put up. Nothing fancy, just a couple of minutes of the Aurora Borealis. And take a look at the graph there, the 172 views. It goes straight up to 172 and then about 90 degrees straight over, right?
Yeah, mine do the same thing.
The next one, 12 days left, 399 views, and then 90 degree straight over. Fishing trip video, same exact thing, right? Eric, thank you, my friend. You didn't have to do that. 90 degree.
They put a cap on it.
90
It
degree.
it appears throttled. I would call this.
Yeah, no, they said 400. 400 is your limit.
Yeah.
They do this with everything.
It's like your credit score.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand what they hope to gain aside from suppressing my speech. Essentially, you know, they are literally just suppressing the speech. I don't know. You know, you say yours look the same. I know you're in the same boat as me, Prepper. Now you are.
Oh yeah, I actually just text you a number because I put up. I was prepared for this in January. It's the strangest thing. It's the strangest thing. Right on Inauguration Day, everything goes dark. Oh, just crazy that day. My returning viewers on January, and this is with the 21st having the boot dropped, 18,894.
Don't do it.
And in February, the returning viewers were 15,159.
Wow.
Now, the new viewers for January, 35,134, which was a 44% decline from December. The new viewers for February, 6,184.
Incredible.
That is a 80% drop in viewership, and probably about, 1/10. In fact, I know that in the last 90 days, I've had 200,000 views on the channel, but in February, I've only had 6,000. So I had 194,000 new viewers in December and January. And then in February, something magically happened. And the thing I love is like how they try to coach you in the back. They're like, this one's not doing as well as the others.
You're gonna have
it's
to
like,
put
well, no
up some
shit,
new-
Sherlock,
you're
because you
gonna
put your
put some new
freaking mushroom
thumbnails.
stamp on it.
Would you like to sponsor this video?
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, man. They're looking for folks to pay to promote their content.
Well, that's what they want.
Yeah, and if YouTube is going to turn into some pyramid scheme, I can promise everybody that I will not be fucking participating in it.
Well, that's basically what it is. They want you to pay.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
And they know, and also it's a way for them to get the smaller voices out, because they know that a larger channel that's got like 150,000 to 1 million to a major channel like, Tucker Carlson, Fox News, MSNBC, whatever, they can pay. They can pay the little whatever. And but like if you're a little channel and you've got 22,000 viewers or subscribers, and this is you might not have that money extra, and it's like, well, it's negating any money I make anyway. So sure, you could do it, but then again, it's like, well, it almost kind of feels like cheating.
So I've got like. What now?
It's very pay to play. It's the same when you find online video games do the same thing. Like you get access upper tier, get Founders Edition, or you get instant access to killer shit that the poors don't have.
So we're
very
about
subscription based BS. Everything's subscription based. You're not even allowed to own software anymore. It's subscription BS. And that's why I got to head over to the Pirate Bay and do work.
So Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, we joined YouTube October 30th, 2020. There is over 700 videos on here. We've been viewed 491,000 views on the channel since then. And apparently that equates to 7,000 subscribers. Even though 400,000 people have seen the channel, it only equates to, 7,800 subscribers. I'm not sure how they do their math over there. But it is quite interesting the way it goes. So
I got a real theory that kind of explains a lot of this. And this one I don't want to forget about. Follow me here. Let's just talk about for me personally, just to put it into perspective and context, I'm going to talk about like my Facebook feed. And like, you like stuff, you follow stuff. You're like, oh, this meme page is funny. Or like, oh, and you like watch this videos all the time and you love it and whatever. With YouTube, it's subscriptions, and people are quick to like, I'm subscribed to that, subscribe to that, I'm subscribed to that, subscribe to that. Now you have 5,000 subscriptions and none of them are highlighted because there's just too many. There's this kind of subscriber that does this. You have the subscriber, but they have so much going on in their feed that they don't even see you. And anybody scrolls Facebook knows this. You don't find your friend shit until like 2 hours of doom scrolling later. And you're like, oh shit, my homie just posted 5 minutes ago, but it was way down there. And they were promoting bigger, better, sponsored nonsense before that because the money talks. Why should they? The advertisers are the ones running this game. They mad at me because I smoke cigarettes and drink beer and say the F word. And so YouTube says no money to be made there.
yeah,
Even though they'll play their fucking ads on our goddamn channel anyway without our permission.
Yeah.
They give this illusion when we start a live stream that you can put ads manually. And I'm going to promise you one thing right now. I have never once hit that ad button. If you were ever shown an ad, which always is in our theme music or right when we start the stream, it wasn't us that did it. Even though they said going in, it's up to you where it goes. No, it ain't. And so then these same advertisers decide that your content's not good enough to advertise on when you didn't fucking ask them to in the first place. And they are the ones that throttle this. And so what happens is the traffic goes to the big, huge rock stars of YouTube because that's where the ad money is. That's the stuff people at, not so much retention, but sheer volume of views. And so that's what it is. It's all Super Bowl commercials out here on YouTube. And who's going to see your stupid commercial and not about the creator at all, which YouTube by name, definition implies that like, here's a space for you to create. This is YouTube. But they're like, yeah, but only your close friends and family are ever going to see this unless you do something either outrageous or somehow get lifted up by a higher power.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
We talked about this on the last time we got together, and it's still relevant. If you weren't here for this, I likened it to trying to break through in the music industry. Back in my day, you could send a demo to a record company or they would see you playing and something could happen. Now, the expectation is that you should have 1 billion views and be already a rock star before they'll even mess with you, which begs the question of what do I need you for when I'm already doing it? And so the industry itself is in a really weird place. And so what it does is prey on smaller channels, and creators do this too. I promise you these big guys watch like stuff like what we do, us smaller guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then they cop the shit.
And they steal
like
your,
they did it. They say
steal
the
your
joke
content.
louder. They say the joke louder and everybody laughs and you're like, whatever, dude. It's terrible.
Well, there's like a Domino's commercial, and it looks like some girl that's making a video for YouTube in her car. So, like that right there. The big advertisers, they're not stupid. They're like, okay, let's put some nerdy-looking chick in her car talking to her friends like she's on Skype or on YouTube or whatever with a big old Domino's pizza thing in her hand, because that's going to mimic the authenticity and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But you're right about the whole breaking in with the music industry thing. It's a great analogy. I mean, I actually if you guys have ever heard of Puddle of Mud, if you know the way they got famous, because I actually opened up for him twice way back in the day before he was ever famous. And he was at a Limp Bizkit show and he had a CD and he chucked it on the stage and it hit the DJ, landed on his DJ equipment, And then he got the thing and gave it to Fred Durst. They went home and like, let's listen to these punk asses. And they're like, wow, this is actually pretty good. Sent it to the record label and like basically discovered them. Like that's never going to happen today. There's no...
That used to be a dream. That used to be possible. Now it's just not, because that music is different than what we're doing here. But it's kind of the same, like metaphorically or whatever the word is, right? It's the same principle. Is you have these big, like kind of big elite people, whether they're million subscriber people or they're even hundreds. To me, a person with 100,000 subscribers or more is like a big deal. And anymore, I feel like without an extreme like just stroke of luck where you're just going to go viral for something ridiculous and random, like a hit single. You ever notice the song by your favorite band doesn't even go, like it's the only song like that on the album?
Yeah, it's not really them.
And then everything else is totally different.
Right, and that's going viral. Is that hit single that actually you end up hating because it's not really what you're doing, but it's like that one-off thing, and then everybody clings to that, and then so you fade away slow if you do something like that. But it's hard to break through. Least of which also is the sheer amount of noise and voices out there. Because anybody can do this, there are...
Everybody's doing it.
The mathematical statistics are ridiculous. I mean, what can we assume that there's 1 billion people on YouTube? Is that...
I would say there's got to be.
I heard there's 2 billion.
Okay, so
now,
then
there's probably a lot of redundancy, but
right, and when
I'd think at least 1 billion.
Right, and so when you statistically break that down, if you were to scroll one video for 1 second, it would take you like 24 years to see 1 second of every video on YouTube. And then by then, there would be more of them anyway. So another statistical thing is the sheer mathematics to try to break through.
So here it says, as of April 2024, YouTube had almost 2.5 billion monthly active users, making it the second most popular social network in the world.
What's the first?
Not really sure.
Gotta be either X or Facebook, I figure.
Probably X or Facebook. Probably Facebook.
I know it ain't. Blue
it says
Sky.
in 2022, 96% of U.S. internet users age 18 to 24 used YouTube, and 95% of those aged 26 to 35 did. And it says gender, men make up more of YouTube's users than women. And it says content, YouTube users can access a variety of content, including music, gaming, DIYs, educational clips, and short form videos. Has over 1.5 billion monthly active users.
Paul,
what I don't understand is why does there have to be manipulation with that amount of people here?
Because it's got to make.
Why can't
money.
they just let things be organic?
I know.
Just
leave it.
I mean, why do you have to go and like get all up in everybody's grill about stuff? Just let it happen. I mean, I understand going and like keeping the terrible content or someone's putting evil stuff. I get that, but I'm talking about just content that's content.
Give me one second.
Like I got contact. Contacted you today. I got contacted by Prepper Dog today because he's out of the blue. He's like, hey, what have you noticed? Like this is going on, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm actually going live with Hudson Valley tonight, and. I showed him some of the things, and I was just like, I mean, if Prepper Dog, he's like the nicest, wholesome dude in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's nothing he's going to put up that's going to, he's a prepper channel. He's going to talk about all that kind of stuff, but he's not going to cuss. He cites Bible verses.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just a good dude. If you know what he does for a living in the background, this is a good human being.
Yeah.
Why does he have to organically be suppressed? So, or inorganically be suppressed.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense.
I got you, Eric. I with the technical glitches, I've been a little wary to push buttons, but
yeah. things have been a little weird around here.
I thought you froze up for a moment when I was talking. I was like, oh, great, here we go.
Given the topic, there appears to be some wrenches thrown in the work here this evening. So
why is I'm a little tight tonight. Okay, so Prepper, now you're a history buff. What do you know about East Germany?
I don't know a lot. I know the basic stuff. Cold War. I'm actually getting ready to go into that unit. I'm doing the end of World War II unit right now. We're doing D-Day.
You're familiar with the
I'm super
Stasi.
stoked. I'm actually going to be seeing Normandy, Omaha Beach in June.
You know about the Stasi, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I
Most
actually was teaching that last week.
efficient
Yeah, SS
secret
and all that.
police force
Yep.
in history. So they did this thing. You can look this up on Wikipedia. It's hard to spell, but it's called Zersetzung. And what it means is decomposition. What they would do is rather than like outright arrest a person, bag them, drag them to prison, do whatever, if they thought like if you were denounced, which was a big deal, the Stasi were not a big organization, but they had their little tentacles everywhere, informants, big.
Well, nobody knew where they were. The end there was 50,000 of them, but they were at least country of millions, but they were everywhere.
But they were
They
everywhere,
weren't.
and they knew everything because the populace actively contributed.
Oh yeah.
To this intel gathering operation, what they would do is they're like, you know what we'll do is Zersetzung, which means decomposition. What we might think of it as degradation. It was a psychological tactic. They would literally, you can look this up. They would go in your house and like move your stuff around, and then like make you feel insane. They do things like glitch your computer and make it act stupid.
Oh yeah.
And just do weird. They didn't have computers back then, but just follow me here. Is that they would infiltrate without you knowing it. They would make you think that you were insane, you were going crazy, that your life was falling apart. It was like a covert, like just dismantling of your mental health.
Yeah. Make you think you were crazy.
And this computer got me thinking tonight.
Well, there's tactics
fucking
like this.
weird.
Every time I load a video now, I lose one subscriber. Every single time. It doesn't matter what time. It doesn't matter what kind of video. It doesn't matter where, who, whatever.
Yep.
Every time I load a video, one subscriber gets taken away.
Yep.
It's like a little like finger to like, oh, you have the audacity of loading.
Whenever I hit the
Trent's
go
better at
live,
it,
whenever I hit the go live button, people disappear. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. And typically, back in the day, I got to be honest with you, when the channel had half the subscribers it has now, we had the same amount of views on everything. The live streams would pull almost 100 people. As you can see, there's only 53 people here. That's it. That's it. I mean, it's an odd night for us to be live, and I'm probably stepping on some people's toes, and my sincerest apologies for that.
Anybody that suffered as we did through the whole technical difficulties, I want y'all to give yourselves a round of applause.
Well, what I want you to do is I want you to contact the Federal Trade Commission and let them know what has been done to you, because just because you think it's technical glitches doesn't necessarily mean it's technical glitches. These could be on the back end with the company that you're trying to do things through, where they're just trying to trip you up along the way because, well, they've heard enough of your shit.
Well, like, why does our money have to go? Because I can assure you that USAID stuff and all that was going to different NGOs, and they were taking it and they were manipulating platforms like this one and other ones,
Absolutely.
using our own money against us.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think I think by silencing people like us is how they further promote their propaganda, their all of their disinformation campaigns have to start with silencing the people who are speaking the truth, so that they can get the lies out a little bit louder, and get the parrots to start repeating the words that they say on the box on the fucking wall. And it's disgusting, man. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And if you haven't seen it, maybe you need to back away from the TV for a little while and then watch somebody hit one of these talking points on the news. And then it's the talking point everywhere. And you see the same talking point, the same line everywhere. And then I just know that it sticks out to me like in bold letters, propaganda, every time I read it.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy.
Well, define propaganda.
Well, yeah, it comes from all sides. There's no ifs, ands, or maybes about that. You have your left-wing propaganda, your right-wing propaganda.
I'm not sure who's just telling us what happened anymore. That one guy you
Prepper
watch.
Now is.
Yeah, and that other fellow is the crisis report or something. He just literally tells you what's going on.
That's the Prepper Now, man. That's the alter ego of the Prepper Now is the crisis report. And I'm telling you, man, it's the only place to get your news.
Yeah.
It's the only place to get your news.
Thank you.
If you don't have time to sit down and listen to the propaganda machine, You spend a half an hour with Prepper Now or at the Crisis Report, and you are going to get the daily breakdown. I wait till the evening to listen to you. That way I can get the whole day in one shot. You know what I mean? But you really got to pay attention because, as we know, the news cycle nowadays changes every 5 minutes. It used to be a 24-hour news cycle. Now we're on to these 5, 10, 15-hour, maybe 12 hours at the most. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know how it gets fixed.
It's funny because, you know, I do that, and I know, you know, that channel has kind of had a similar rise as yours. I started in November of 2020. It's got 10,000, and I think the only reason why is because I was able to promote it with Prepper Now, which I think got just a little bit of a head start before it really started getting bad. So I think that's the only reason why. But, you know, I know they don't want that because they don't want you getting your news from a little channel like mine. They want you going and getting it from the big. Yeah, well, you know, and not only that, but like they want you going through official places. They want you going to Bloomberg. They want you going to Reuters or you know, Fox or
whoever's
MSNBC
pushing
or
those
whatever. They
talking points.
Yeah. Because, you know, I'm going to sit there and question some stuff. I'm going to ask some questions in the middle. Be like, well, that's kind of convenient or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. They just want official voices. They don't want, you know, people that are out there finding the news and putting it out there, even though I've got like a background in it and other things. They don't want that. So
yeah, it
gets suppressed, and it is what it is.
It sucks, man. It sucks. You know, I have one video on the channel that I feel has grown organically. A gear review video. I did a video on a backpack that I bought, and just kind of going over, taking a look at it. And that video, for some reason, there's no clamp on it whatsoever.
Somebody is spamming the fuck out of those emojis right now. Look at them flying. Keep it going.
So that video, the trajectory on it, you saw the 90 degrees in the graphs that we shared earlier.
Oh, yeah.
That video has more of a diagonal line to it that starts the bottom left and up to the right. So I can literally look at the analytics that they provide for me and see the suppression, see when they put the clamp on, how long they're going to let a video go before they put the lid on it and stop it altogether, because that's basically what they do. I don't understand why. Rural 2 I see says, speaking of suppression, just got a notification. You know, it's only 42 minutes late and, you know, just about an hour since the first one went live. So
there was some BS involved there that you were lucky to have missed, but thank you for showing up. We appreciate you. Johnny 3806. Most prepper channels are not even prepper channels. Now they've turned into sit-in talks or political channels. I feel specifically attacked. Is there something more you would like to say?
Well, I think politics tie into preparedness a lot, because it seems that politics are going to bring about the eventual doom, right?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, there's a lot of warmongers in politics, and aside from a natural disaster, war is the next most likely thing to displace you from your current residence.
So many pre-cooked dead bodies laying around. There's a warmonger on this live stream, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's me. It's fucking. You know, the world needs less people. I'm tired of it.
Please, if you have a channel, if you feel that you have been unfairly treated by these big tech corporations, whether it's Instagram,
drop that link in there again so I can pin
Facebook, anything like that, you really should. Oh, it's all gone now, Livingston, man, it's gone.
See what they do? They're such stung.
It's gone. Yeah.
Well, I've heard other people that comment, like Smokey Blazer. He's one he commented. He said he's like on his last. You know, he's like, he shared something about Rand Paul, and it was him being critical of certain elements in the government and their response to, you know, COVID years ago. This is a sitting senator addressing a panel or committee in our government. He shared it out, and they like took the comment down, and like this is what he said. I don't know if this is true, but I trust him. Said basically they took the comment down, something to this effect. and kind of said, you can't do this, or we're just gonna shut you down. So, and I've heard this in other people that have said, I put a comment up and it was, something that was challenging the narrative, but also was coming from a person that would challenge the narrative. Like I posted something from Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, very critical of the response. I posted one of his things and they took it down. It's like, well, that's a duly elected individual, and you're taking public commentary and you're posting it onto a public platform. Why does that need to come down?
Yeah.
Especially if you're not like doing it in a I don't know, whatever. I mean, it shouldn't be taken down if it's just you talking about that comment. So even that, like, that sends the message to people that you are not able to freely speak your mind. It's one thing when you're saying nasty crap, you're calling names, or like, I get that.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you guys being mean, or you're bullying, whatever the hell you want to call it. But if you're sitting there making like an intellectual comment and you're using our public officials, why does that need to come down? And again, I go back to the Joe Rogan Trump thing in October. Like, why was that suppressed?
It was suppressed because they wanted to win an election.
Of course, and everybody knows it. But like, that's FEC crime right there. If you know the law,
Yep.
They're not allowed to do that. Or they have to give equal. They have to go and give whatever it is. But it's not allowed. But they do it anyway.
It's incredible, man. I hopefully
it's money. It's all money. It really is not about political affiliations or the things that you're saying. It is literally ad revenue pouring in, and we don't want to offend nobody. We've seen what happens when brands take a side in things, and it can get a little murky. Whether you're talking about when Carhartt dabbled with laying off workers over the V word,
Yep.
and people started burning their cars. People were burning their Keurigs and throwing them out the window. Let's not talk about
Nike,
the Bud Light
time.
thing.
Yeah.
When corporations pick sides, they get beat down for it by one or the other. And so what we see here on YouTube is, if you, as a creator, have picked a side, these advertisers, who are this unelected oligarchy of social media, say, we don't want our ads on that. They'll put them on there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But then they'll say that your content is not suitable for their ads. And that's the very interesting part to me, because it should be the opposite. Are your ads suitable for my content?
Correct.
Because why are you trying? And it's like you inserted yourself into a situation you weren't asked to, and now you're calling the shots. And you know why it is? Because you got the money. You're the one that makes it go around. That's where everything of this makes its money, from the top to the bottom. Like, even we get our little, 0.0003 cents every time we put an ad we didn't ask for on our shit. And then they say you've been demonetized because we're not.
Yeah, we don't like your content,
when they were never asked to begin with. So here is the perhaps the crux of the argument the FTC is trying to make.
Yeah,
is
I should be able to.
A third party inserted themselves, took control, and then silenced you because they couldn't make money from what you said.
Yeah.
When, well, it was maybe you trying to make money from what you said, and who asked them?
Exactly, and when they. Political season especially, they come through and just throw ads over everything. You're getting political ads from whatever side of the spectrum you like, that the algorithm is zeroing you in on. You're going to get freaking beat in the head with them every time you click on something. And I don't get to choose what you get to see. They choose what you get to see. So it could be something that I am totally against.
I need y'all to fess up. Who is spamming the emojis right now? Come on, you get the award, bro. These things have just been going.
Well, the other thing too is, like, it's not even like the companies; it's their investors. Like, look at Vanguard and BlackRock. They're coming in too, and they're saying, "Oh, you have to do the DEI thing, and you have to be, inclusive and all this." And it's like, this is Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply wants to sell hay to people that own horses. Like, where does BlackRock come into it, where you have to sit there and go, okay, well, we got to make it so not only do you sell hay to people that own horses, you also are promotional to a drag show that's going to be put in front of youngins or something like that. Like all that is another thing that gets. I don't understand the mentality when you're a business of why you would want to have only one side or the other. And I go back to the Republicans buy shoes too thing. Why would you want to craft our society to just one side of the political aisle? Why don't you just stay out of it, not comment, because nobody gives a shit what the hell you think anyway, Larry Fink. But like, just stay out of it and just make business, just make money, sit back. And, I don't need Larry Fink's friggin', ideas of what our society should be. Why doesn't society just be what it is?
Yeah. It's just let people are who they are. This is a place at YouTube. It's for you to come and express yourself and your things and your video diary here on YouTube. It's not for YouTube to say whose diary you should look at. It's not for them to put a cap on the views of your particular video because they don't like the genre you're in. It should all be free-floating, free-willed, and free for anybody to watch when they feel like it. I know if you go to try to find Hudson Valley Prepping Survival on Instagram, you can type almost our whole name in, and you'd be lucky if we come up. And then if you do find us and you click on the button to follow us, it's going to ask you if you really want to do that, because this account repeatedly posts mis- or disinformation, which actually later all turned out to be true and factual. But they do their own thing. And it's still there. It's still there. It's not just this platform. It's across the board. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. And now I think one of the Zuckerbergs bought TikTok. Honestly, I really do, because things over there are changing a bit.
All right. I saved it up for you guys, but we'll be. What do we go live? 20 minutes late or something like that?
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, I got a wife. I got to start to wrap this thing up.
I got a couple of theories about why what we're seeing here is happening. Here go. If you want to go down a rabbit hole and don't hate, I'm not hating. I'm just watching. Okay. That's the thing I need to say to people. And so big social media. They lined up though. Obviously Elon Musk paid his penance, and he went and kissed the ring and what have you. So did Mark Zuckerberg. All this. So this FTC inquiry into big tech, really, if you take Elon out of the picture and you take Mark Zuckerberg out of the picture, who's left but Google? YouTube's parent company. YouTube is Google, same thing.
Yep,
right?
Alphabet Inc.
Now, Google is this enigmatic organization. It's borderline James Bond villain. What it does, it knows everything about you. Everybody's Google it. Just everybody Google everything. Google. It's a verb. It's a noun. It's a pronoun. I identify as a Google. People are like, oh, I got it. Okay, so what this does is if opens this up, dig this hole, start pulling truths out and seeing what happens here. What does it do? It makes Google like bad, tanks Google's stock. People move to other things. What other things? Facebook and X, of course. To be blatantly honest with you guys, I think this is a power play so Elon Musk can end up owning Google. Because I know the other two there, they lined up. They kissed the ring. They let Trump back on the platform. And the only one left. Who else is there? What, what's going to come after Blue Sky or whatever the hell that nonsense is? It's a. I hate to say that I worry and but first I just simply wonder: is another sort of a vengeance politics thing? Facebook banned Trump, but then they let him back. Twitter banned Trump, and then Elon bought it and he let him back. Google. And y'all know it. I see y'all in the comments. Do your research. Not Google, though. Y'all hating it. Everybody hating Google. This is a plot to bring big tech to its knees. And what is big tech really? Google is that giant mech suit
Yeah,
that
it
is unstoppable. But if they can push it all the way to whatever Google even is, because it's like Bitcoin, nobody even knows. It's so far-reaching and so deep.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's got.
No, you are right.
It's a power play at Google itself, and not unwarranted. Because if they've been out here breaking the law and or violating people's rights, now, how does this? Another thing is, how does this boil down to the rest of the world? So maybe Americans' First Amendment rights were violated, but people from Albania probably got their views censored too. What's it mean for them?
The Federal Trade Commission, it does nothing for them. This is a U.S. government thing. So this is for U.S. citizens and U.S. citizens solely. The Federal Trade Commission.
This ripples down?
I hope it does. I hope it does, man.
But could we be engineering the demise of the very platform that we are?
Maybe the breaking up of the monopoly. Yeah, maybe.
I've heard Google called that.
I was going to say that
I've heard
too.
Google called that.
Antitrust. I mean, they did it in the turn of the century with the robber barons and Vanderbilt and all that. Mm-hmm. They just Standard Oil and all that. They reformed and kind of pooled in other ways and went around it, but still there was like an antitrust breaking up of these huge conglomerates that just owned everything in whatever selective business form it was. Back then it was trains and transport and communications, Alexander Ma Bell and all that. But
big oil.
Now it's information. It's Google, and breaking it up isn't necessarily a bad thing if it is doing something that is antitrust worthy and making it so smaller companies can't rise up. And you better believe there are things like that are going on.
Well, hating the person dropping the emojis. Keep dropping them emojis. Those help.
But another thing is back to the business and everything. The preparedness community. I looked this up too. I want to come with good info. $31 billion is spent every year on preparedness. Do you know how much is spent on gaming? And one could make the point that YouTube is one of the largest gaming pushers or platforms out there. I mean, my kids, everybody, gaming is huge on this platform. How much do you think they spend on gaming every year in America? That's for everything. That's your controllers, your games, everything. How many billions of dollars?
500.
51 billion. It's only about 51 to 54 billion.
I was going to say.
So it's not even double what the preparedness community is, and I don't even think they're probably taking all of the preparedness community, because there's probably little things in there that they're not counting.
There's a lot of people who don't say that they are preppers. So.
Oh yeah, but they are.
Oh, totally.
If you buy something for your vehicle and it's from an automotive store, that doesn't get considered prepping, but still you're doing it because you're prepping.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. So I see what you're saying. The rabbit hole actually the money hole goes deeper in preparedness.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
I just don't understand why there's such an attack. But go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say preparedness is so big and so wide-ranging for so many different people that there's so much stuff that falls into those categories. People could say I'm prepared because I have 20 rolls of paper towels. I only use one a month.
Can make a nice soup out of those.
Good forever. But you wouldn't normally consider paper towels a preparedness item. They're probably basing that off of like fire starters, water purifiers, freeze-dried food sales.
Yeah.
So I don't even think. I think you're right. I think it highly underestimates the community as far as the monetary aspect. I think it's much bigger than that. Probably double.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably double.
And they shut us down.
Like food.
They shut us down like we're nothing. Like we're nothing.
I'll tell you why.
Well,
because
I know a lot of my content is like of current events and things that are going on, but still, like, it still pertains to the preparedness community.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wake people up because I'm like, hey, I'm a history teacher. I can tell you a lot about World War I and World War II, and what I'm seeing is looking really European 1936 here.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to sell a bunch of a product or have views. It's because I'm generally worried as an American that we are setting ourselves up for failure, and people are just out there kind of living their lives, and you're sitting there like, man, there's a storm on the horizon, and I want you to be ready for it. I want you to know that as a guy that teaches this stuff, these are all lining up, and this is rhyming like it did 80 years ago, and you need to be doing things to get prepared for it, and just putting some simple stuff away.
Okay, and so what ends up happening is in a post in this era we're in now,
Post-truth.
and also the America first on
Post-truth.
America on the rise again, sort of prepping. Follow me here. Prepping and preparing for a day after, and when things are going to go wrong, you don't trust your own government. It's seen as it's not patriotic, it's defeatist. That's like saying we're the strongest country in the world, but like our citizens are building bunkers and burying their heads in the sand. It doesn't jibe. Why you get put in a box, why you get called something is because like people are like, man, you don't trust the system. And that's something you're going to get from people a lot. And it's a thing you should probably almost never do is trust the system. I promise you Uber Eats works better than the United States government.
I'm just glad the Jibbity Jab wasn't being run by Chick-fil-A 5 years ago. Because that, woo,
all right, so
everybody be
and so this censorship and shadow banning and this sort of control, this manipulation of the so-called algorithm, it could be construed as a sort of attempt at national security. We cannot have our citizens broadcasting this distress message. What if China and Russia see this? It could make sense that in that regard that we can't have like the greatest country in the world and yet our citizens stay bitching. Oh my God, I don't get paid enough. It's and that. Never happy.
Fucking, democracy.
You bunch of it's a constitutional republic. Okay, and so. And this is, there's so many factors here, and not to mention the algorithm itself. The algorithm itself was actually designed and supposed to cater to you. It wants to know, what do you like? Oh, you like that? Here's more of what you like, bro. We like you. We want you to stick around. Here's all the stuff you like. But what it ends up creating is an extremist echo chamber at the worst, or just a stream of sameness. Because it eventually just assumes that this is who you are. This is what you are. It folds you up. It puts you in the box, and it puts you here.
Yeah. Next thing you know, your radio station is stuck on NPR every day.
All right. So,
thing about me with being involved in youth and all that, and I coach young ladies of a 13, 14-year-old kind of age group, and I've got high school students, and you think about all that, and what is tailored to them is really, if it keeps going in a certain way, it foments depression. It makes them feel like they're not good enough, not pretty enough, not whatever enough. And then also, like my daughter, she was, she's 10 now, but she used to watch these, it's called Gacha Life, Gacha space life. It's this kind of Japanese anime stuff, but the content was like way up above. It was like pregnancy and self-harm and stuff like that. And my wife and I found it and we're like, stop watching this. But sure enough, she was, but the algorithm kept putting it in front of her.
Yeah.
And she got mad one night. We're like, call her, like, what do you want? Like, we told you not to watch it. She's like, I wasn't doing it. It keeps putting it in front of me. Yeah. Literally. And it's like, well, okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We have all these young ladies and these young men too that have these really terrible views of themselves. And if they're in an algorithm and they start watching thing that promotes something that really emboldens that, man, it can take off running like nobody's business and really can contribute to things like self-harm.
And a Donald Trump presidency.
Friggin' Donald.
It's true.
It was the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Absolutely.
And this is what the so-called the algorithm, I'll call it, is. It was supposed to just keep you on the website and docile and entertained. But depending on the certain things that you find fascinating, it can lead to like unforeseen consequences, like this sort of online radicalization and things that can happen. And I'm not going to say it's not people's fault, because people should put a whole shaker of salt on just about everything they consume these days, including their food. but it's a creepy world out there, and especially when they remove the checks and balances from things. I hated fact checkers, okay, because I thought that what they ended up doing was actually just lending credence to whatever was said. When you got fact checked, you wore it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, look, here come the fact checkers. Look, I must have been right. But there was still like a sort of a context was given, or at least another viewpoint was presented. Now I see people, y'all fucking just go online and say whatever. Y'all be making shit up. I swear
true.
to,
It's
and
true. There's a lot of fear mongers out there too, Livingston, man.
y'all just be making shit up and being like, it must be true. And I'm like, that's, like I said, why we call this era the post-truth era is because the two biggest wastes of your time that you can possibly achieve are to think you know the truth, or worse, go try and find it. Don't bother. It's gone. It's dead. Promise you. Forget it.
Or suppressed.
Yep.
If it isn't written on paper in a book from like 100 years ago,
Rum Runner, thank you so much, my friend.
it's highly suspect. And even that, history has always been written by the victors, Prepper now, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And as his, yourself a professional, myself an amateur, I've accepted that until a time travel is invented, I'll never actually know what really happened. It's always been propaganda since they learned how to write the stick figures on the Neanderthal walls. All right, they showed us them taking down the bison like they was winning the battle, but I mean, how many times did they not win the battle? We don't know. We only know that one time they did.
Yep.
Oh
It's
yeah,
true. It's true.
that's why it's called history. It's his story. That's all it
Yes,
is.
oh God, not that. I'm here for her story.
Just say your truth,
Oh,
woman.
man.
Just
That's
say
it.
it.
Speak truth to power, girl. Slay queen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a content creator and you feel you have been unfairly treated by a big tech platform,
check our pin
you have
post at the top
yes,
up there.
please check the pin comment. I would like you to go to the Federal Trade Commission. I would like you to participate in their public comments and lay it all out there for them, man. If they've truly been doing us wrong, it's time to hold some fucking feet to the fire. And hopefully what comes out of it is a little more free speech, a little more freedom of creation, and a little less suppression. I want to thank Prepper Now for joining us tonight to talk about this topic. I really appreciate you being here, my friend. And I am going to give you the last word this evening.
I appreciate you coming and bringing this all to everybody's attention. And, the hallmark of a truly free society is the ability to be able to express your opinion. And if we're living in a society where we've got people that are suppressing that or using their means, their, ability to influence and all that to help or to stop people from saying whatever it is they want to say, I'm not looking for promotion. I just want the ability to say it. But if you're going in and you're hindering people and you're doing everything and you have an immense amount of pressure, like a large platform or someone in the government or whatever, you should not be allowed to do that because that is un-American. It's not what our Bill of Rights says. We all have an ability to say it. And, although I might disagree with what you say, I will defend to the death your right to say it, as the famous biographer of Voltaire said. And we'll leave it on that.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. We really appreciate there you go. Technical difficulties in talking too. Really appreciate you being here. Do us a favor, share this out. If you know a content creator who has been stifled or you feel has been stifled, please share this video with them. Make sure they get in contact with the FTC. Share the links. Do the things, folks. It's the one way we can all get out of this together. And this is how we fight back. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.